This is the e-learning for your 60 experience percentage homework. I am referring to this page number. You may want to take out your 60 experience and turn to page 23 of your book. We're going to start this topic very slowly and we're going to try to learn up because this topic can be a little challenging. So I'm going to start off slow with the 60 learning experience page instead of going straight to the problem. Alright, now this topic requires you to think deeper. In a sense, sometimes when you are given a word problems, some informations are given to you. Now let's take for example this question. You have this amount of workers in company X and company Y, two companies. Now 40% of the workers in X are women. This kind of information are being told to you very clearly in the question, right? Now, but do you also realize that when this information is given to you, they are also accidentally telling you an invisible information? What do I mean by invisible information? Alright, now you take for example, they told you this. They said that 40% of the people in company X are women. Well, did the story tell about men? Did not, right? But this information has already secretly also told you the information about men. Why do I say that? Because if you know, and if the story tells you that 40% are women, then logically 60% will be men, right? So this is what I call as a hidden information that you cannot actually see from the question, but you are required to think it through and know that. So with this background information, we're going to start learning what's happening today in our learning experience. Okay, now you have these two companies, company X and company Y. Try to erase the previous working. You have company X, you have company Y, and in X, 40% are women, in Y, 20% are women. So what kind of method does this remind you of? Very familiar, right? Because you are given two groups of things, and within two groups of things, there are two groups of subgroups. So doesn't this remind you of our method called the branching method? So we are not going to follow the method given by the book. So what happens is that you started off with a total of 500 workers, company X, company Y. So this 500 is going to be branched out into this 500 workers is going to be branched out into two groups of people known as X and company Y. Alright, now we look at the question again. 40% of the workers in X are women. Ooh, so 40%, which would mean 40 out of 100, 40% are women. Again, the hidden information would be, if you know that in X 40% are women, then the opposite side will be 60%. And this 60% will be people who are men. Now we do the same for Y. 20% of the workers in Y are women. So 20% are women. And they didn't tell you about the men, but the opposite side, you would know the hidden information is this. 80% will be men. Alright, now, so the learning experience told us further. There are 360 men. Oh, so where are the men? I circle the men. The men is this and this. So this two, I'm going to put a curly bracket. These two men will add up to 360. This is the information given by the story. But I'm going to challenge you to think, is there also another hidden information? I give you a clue. They gave us a total of 500 and we know the total man is 360. Does it look obvious to you now? Alright, I'm going to use a different color to those who have not seen it. If you know the men all add up to 360, that means all the women will be 500 minus 360. Okay, so this information is not given to you in the story, but you can find out. This is the purpose of today's learning experience. Right? Now we try the second one. Now there are two groups of people again, or two companies I would say, Delta and Astron. And there are a total of 190 workers. So 190 workers is the total. And this 190 is being split into two companies known as Delta as well as Astron. Two companies, right? Make up a total of 190. 75% of people in the Delta are women. So Delta, in the Delta company, 75% are women. Again, ask yourself, is there any hidden information? If 75 is women, 25 will be the men. Okay, let's do it for the Astron company. Astron company wise, 25% of Astron are women. And this would mean that on the opposite side, the hidden information is 75% will be men. Alright, now let's plug in the numbers. There are 85 men in both companies. So where are all the men? The men is here. I'm going to color code again. I'm going to circle. And this 2 gives me a total, curly bracket, a total of 85. Alright, now again, any more hidden information? Any information that I can continue to wipe out if I know that's 85. Very good. Okay, if you are able to spot that the total is 190, the men are standing at 85, then it means that the women will add up to a total of 190 minus 85 men. Okay, which will give you the number of women. Alright, now this seems a little bit long-winded because the same idea is going to go for number 2. Now, if you think you are the sort of person who needs extra practices, please, by all means, go ahead and try this on your own. Because I will not want to waste time on this video to keep this video shorter. So those who would like to have the extra sense of confidence, don't worry, take your time, pause this video, try question 2 by yourself. The idea is the same. Alright, the video is going to proceed, and the video is going to proceed with the real question now, which is question 1. And this question 1 is going to be the same idea, which I'm not going to use the book to follow. Alright, I'm going to strike out. If you would like to strike out, can you please strike it out proper with ruler? I will not hesitate to return the book back to you to have it erased cleanly if you strike it off very messy, in a messy manner. Alright, now let's start the story. We're going to do 1 together, and after that you will be doing 2 and 3 on your own. So again, 2 groups of people, and these 2 groups of people makes up a total of 150 boys and girls. So I will have a total of 150. This 150 is made up of boys and girls. So I'm done with this number. Now 30% of the boys. I'm going to take out 30% of these boys. 30% of the boys took part in the swimming events. Quite interesting. You can be at the swimming carnival, but you didn't take part. So this 30% of the boys, they took part. So I'm going to write something English down there. Took part. Is there any hidden information here? Information that's not said, but you can find out. Well, if 30% took part, that means the other 70% did not. Let's do it for the girls. 70% of the girls also took part. 70% of the girls took part. But what happens? Hidden information, any? It will be 30% of the girls did not take part. So this is how your branching is going to look like. Now, any more information? Let's continue. All this information are done. So we put a tick. Now, given that there were 81 children who did not take part, I'm going to use a different color. Those who did not take part, who are you? You are here and here. Wow, these two people, groups of people who did not take part are 81 people. Alright, that's what they said. Right? Is there any more hidden information? If you know 81 took part and you know the total children is 150, do you think you can find some more hidden information? Right, those who took part, I'm going to use a different color now. Those who took part, do you think you can find the actual number? It will be 150 minus away 81. Alright, let me just write it neatly. It's going to be 150, the total, minus 81, those who did not take part. So those who actually took part will be 69 people by calculator. Alright, those who take part will be 69 people. Now, this is the part which we all did during the learning experience. Of course, in a question, you will need to have more steps, right, to solve the question. How many boys were there at the swimming complex? Alright, now this is a part where it is something new, where I'm going to take my very, very slow time to explain to you. And I hope you will try your very best to understand. Okay? Now, all this information that we have done were all in branches. Now, in branches, it can look very, very confusing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write out the sentences or write out the information in equation form. What do I mean by equation form? I'm going to use the same branch. I'm going to plug out the information. Let's start with the green one first. It says here, alright, 70%. I'm looking at the green color. 70% of the boys plus 30% of the girls is equal to 81. So far, can you understand? I'm just writing out the equation. 70% from the boys, 30% from the girls, they add up to a total of 81. This is the first equation I'm writing. Okay? Now, the second possible equation I can also write. What is the second equation I can write? I can talk about the other group of people, right, who took part. Now, the other group of people who took part, I'm looking at 30% and the 70%. This first one and the third one. And they add up to 69. Am I right? So I'm also going to write down the information. I'm looking at the blue now. The blue. So 30% of the boys plus 70% of the girls took part instead, right? And these people who took part will be 69. Can we just do a double check? 81 and 69. Does it give you back 150? It should be, right? So this is 69. So I can put some English here. 81 stands for people who did not take part. Whereas 69 refers to those who take part. Okay? So I'm writing out in equation form. Alright, that's all I'm doing. Nothing complicated. I'm just writing out in equation form. Alright? Okay, now this looks very confusing. How do I go about even solving it? Because I have different boys, I have different girls. They are all different numbers. Alright, now I would like you to go back to your memory about this question on Ali and Bala. Alright, now, do you remember in Ali and Bala question, who was the person who was a constant? Ali was the constant, right? So, when we have a number, for example, this is 100 and this is 200, we know that since both of them, A is a constant, we don't even bother looking at A, right? So the difference between B and C will be 200 minus 100. That's what we're going to do for Ali and Bala's question over here as well. Okay, what do I mean by this? Now let's go back to the question. Let's go back to the question and try to see what I mean by Ali and Bala. Now in this case, look, I have got 70% boys. Okay. Now look at Bala over here. 70% Bala, 30% Bala. Boys and boys. Now, when we say we want to try to make it to look like Ali and Bala question, I'm trying to make one of the variable constant. So both of them will look like Ali. So when one of it becomes a constant, things will be a lot easier. Now, what do I mean? 70 and 30, what is a common number? It will be 210. Am I right? Now, for you to get to 210, you need to multiply this by 3. 30%, you need to multiply this by 3. All across, you're going to multiply by 3. And you're going to get 210% boys plus 90% girls. I'm just tripling everything up. All triple by 3 times. This is going to be 243. Okay. Now with that, I will want to cancel away the old numbers because the old numbers is no longer useful for me. Alright, it's going to get really messy. So I want to erase. Now, we're going to do the same for the second equation. The second equation, 30, we want to try to make it to 210. We want to make it to a constant times 7 times 7 times 7. Now 30 times 7, woo, very nice, 210 boys plus 490 girls equals to, this will be 493. Alright, 483. Let me check with my calculator. It's 483. Alright, again, what have I just done? I'm trying to make one of the variable looking the same. Alright, I made the boys. Of course, some of you say, hey, why can't we make the girls? I can do that also, no problem. Alright, I just did it conveniently for the boys. And hey, now look at the two equations, the two new equations. Alright, the two new equations over here, 210, 210. These are all Ali. They are the same. Where is the only difference? The difference lies with this 2 and this 2. So ask yourself, what is causing this total to be bigger? Is it because the boys? Not really, right? Because the boys share the same percentage now. It is the girls who share a different percentage. And that's why the total number is also different. So do you think we can solve it from here? 490 minus 90 will give you 400, right? The difference. And this 400% girls is actually equals to 483 minus 243 equals to 240. Now, 400% girls. How in the world is there even 400% girls? Because girls can only have 100%, right? How can there be 400%? So 100%, how do you get 400 to 100? It will be 240 divided by 4. And that's going to give you 60. Okay, so now I know that there are 60 girls. We go back to the question, how many boys are there? Go back to my answer. I have 60 boys So what does that tell me? 60 people are girls, right? So to find boys, I just need to take the total number 150 minus 60, and I will get the number of boys. This is my answer. Alright, now this can get a little tricky, but I guess the tricky part is where you need to make those equations to have a similar variable so that you're only comparing one variable. This is the only challenge from this 6-year experience. I would like you to try exactly the same method with question 2 on your own. As usual, I will not go through question 2, but I do leave you with the answer for you to try. 18 square centimeter. That's for question 2. And also the same method will work for question 3. And for question 3, answer is 120. Okay, I can't seem to write the number, but the answer is 120. So your homework will stop at question 3.